So this morning the Lord gave me a prophetic dream, and I literally heard an audible voice while I was getting out of that prophetic dream. So in the dream, I was in America, which I'm currently in America, but in the dream I saw that catastrophe happen. Something happened, and I saw people moving, migrating, looking for safety. I remember the image is still in my head. I remember seeing the city as if the city was struck some way or another. And while moving through different parts of this dream, I saw we have entered a time of lawlessness. And in America, the things that we didn't think would happen were happening, and the laws were not there anymore. And so you see lifestyles being lived out, like literally before your eyes, and it was the norm. And I remember in my spirit, I'm saying, I'm going to preach the truth. I'm going to preach the truth. And someone was warning me that, if you start preaching, they're going to start to lock you up now, because all these things are law and they have been accepted and they have been passed. And I'm saying, I don't care if they lock me up, I'm going to preach. And I was ready to preach the truth. It didn't matter to me, because I told myself that I'm going to preach the truth, whether they want to like it or not. I'm going to preach Jesus. I'm going to preach the truth. But I knew what was happening, and I remember I got to a point where I was observing everything taking place. When I say lawlessness, it was lawlessness. It got to the point that they were getting ready to protest. And I heard them crying out, "Away with the Bible, away with the Bible." I saw university students coming out to protest against the Bible. I saw people being stirred up to protest against the Bible and to come against preaching the gospel. This was the era that we were in this dream. And then I heard a sound from a speaker singing the song Yeshua, Yeshua. And I realized that the sound of the speaker got louder and louder. And then I saw a remnant emerging. And the remnant were not afraid. And the remnant of God's people were louder in praising God than their chance of getting rid of the word of God. And then while I was coming out of this vision, I heard the voice of the Lord saying, "Judgment is coming to New Orleans, to Minnesota." And I heard a next state. But what I thought I was coming out of the dream when I heard this. Then I realized that I was in a different part of the dream. And I was writing down in my phone, and I wrote, "Judgment is coming down to New Orleans, to Minnesota." And then I wrote misery. And then I said, no, I don't think it's misery. And I erased misery. And there was a dot, because I didn't know what the third state was. But I clearly heard the voice saying, "Judgment is coming to New Orleans and Minnesota." So we definitely should be praying, because even though these things are going to happen, there's a remnant of God's people that's going to arise. And this is a time more than ever that we should be praying. There's a turning in the tide that's the tide is about to turn, but evil is still on the rise. So let us be praying. God bless you all.